So Al, let's do the standard intro that all YouTubers do. Hello, I'm David.
And I'm Al.
Welcome to Squirrel Trails.
Okay, good. I can see we are as inventive as normal.
Yeah, so today we're talking about cryptocurrency and more specifically what mining does. So we talked a little bit about what miners do in our last video. Today we're going to break down what actually miners are doing.
So this isn't like when I wanted to live in Prescott and own a mine where we would go out and get tin and copper.
Well, you would own a mine, you're just not getting tin and copper, you're getting cryptocurrency.
Okay, let's see how this works. I'm a little old, and I haven't done a lot of studying about this.
So from our last discussion and what you kind of done a little bit of research, well, first of all, disclaimer, anything we say, do, talk about is our opinion and our opinion alone and not those of our employers.
And you should only watch this at your own risk.
So, with that out of the way, so what out of your research, kind of what you see out there, what does, when someone says, yeah, we're mining Bitcoin, what does that mean to you?
They're chewing up a ton of electricity. Basically using a computer to help solve a problem.
Yep.
And if they're lucky, in our first, they may actually get a Bitcoin. Which
actually, right now they're getting like 12.7 Bitcoin.
Oh, okay. So again, don't even have timely data. So no, there's a couple of good books that I've been reading on this. The one that I like is it looks a little techy, but it keeps it on a light level. Is Explaining Blockchain in 25 Steps. Kind of a good read. Not particularly light, and it's a little confusing, but I like it. But then that probably goes to my mind.
Yeah.
So David, on the other hand, tends to live on
research.
Yeah, we'll call it research. Good for it.
I can't help it. Once I get a mindset to do something, just about nothing can get in my way.
So this is what happens when you have a learning process in your mind and you have OCD at the same time.
Yeah. I'm learning that I do have OCD. Yeah. No wonder why I married my wife.
You got it from your wife.
Yeah,
let's go with that. It feels better than to think that your mom or I have it.
So kind of we're gonna break it down. So, what is a miner doing? They're creating a hash.
Okay. So why do I mine? Why would I even want to do this?
Good job. Okay. So what the miner does is, we're going to step back a little further. So why do we need miners?
Okay.
Right? So when I make a transaction from me to you,
okay,
I'm going to put that on the ledger, the open ledger.
Okay, so let's back up just a little bit further. Right?
Okay.
So we're going to be walking through.
If you haven't watched our other video on Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, you should probably watch that first.
Right, because we're going to be going in. So
there's a link above right here. Click there first, and then come back to us.
Because we're going to be expecting to have a little bit of knowledge, not a lot, because I certainly don't, on blockchains and cryptocurrency. So. And hopefully you'll have a little more at the end of this.
Hopefully. Otherwise, if you don't learn anything, comment below saying, "What the hey?"
I'm just as confused as I was before, but that's normally what happens when you attend one of my classes.
Yeah, true, very true. So we have an open ledger. So you and I know your key, you know my key.
Right.
We make a transaction.
Okay.
And so we put that transaction on the ledger. Now, that transaction doesn't occur automatically.
What? We've had a transaction. It's supposed to be recorded right away.
It's recorded right away, but it's in the clear. So it's in the there's a places where the miners grab all the transactions.
Okay.
And that's where it's going to.
So someplace in the ether,
Yep.
there is, by the way, ether doesn't actually exist, but someplace out there, there is all these transactions that are floating,
Yep.
waiting to be added to a chain.
Yes. And so,
Wow, that's scary.
yeah, just a little bit. And what's happening is miners grabbing all those transactions and creating a block.
So do they get to pick which transactions they select?
Yes.
Why?
Because they can't. They're grabbing the transactions.
Whole other conversation, but okay.
Yes. They're
There's value to selecting them themselves.
yes. Yeah. I mean, they're not, and most times it's just it's the software doing it more
Okay.
than the actual person going,
All right.
I want that one. It's the software that's picking it up.
Okay. Save that for another conversation.
We'll go into that kind of a little bit later. That's a good yeah. So,
It's a good yeah.
right? That's why I'm not a teacher. So, because my students go, yeah, what? yeah. Okay, anyways.
I thought it was the thingy thing that got you in trouble.
That thingy thing? Oh, yeah. The scary part was when you know what my thingy thing is. The thingy thing. Oh, yeah. Okay, anyways. Let's get back on track. A little squirrel trail right there. So now that we're back on track. So what the miner's doing is you're grabbing all those transactions.
Are we ever on track?
Yeah, true. Good point. And they're creating a hash.
Okay.
We'll break down what the hash is kind of a little bit later. And so once they create the hash and get the correct hash,
All right.
okay, they then send out a proof of work to everybody else, all the other miners.
So they've grabbed the transactions.
Yep.
They've calculated a hash.
Yep.
And then they send it out to everybody else to validate.
To validate. So saying this is the correct answer.
Okay. And so then somebody, all of those people or a set of those people, then say yes.
Yes. So then once that proof of work is sent out, everybody goes, "Yep, that's right." Then we get the consensus.
Okay.
At least 51% have to agree that yes, that's the answer.
Okay. So technically what we mean is consensus means more than 51% agree.
Yes, more than 51%.
Did anybody actually get to disagree?
I guess you could.
A question that should not have been asked.
Yeah, well, you could disagree on purpose, but you'd have to have a ton of people to disagree to make sure that only you get the correct hash.
So 50% of more than 50% of the environment
Yep.
have to agree.
Yes.
Okay. So if I disagree, I'm a lone wolf out there.
You are less than 1 point or less than 0.00001.
Okay. So, and even if I got a bunch of them together to mess with the system.
You maybe get 1%.
So if I was trying to do this, what I consider a weird denial of service attack.
It has been tried.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Not
Sorry.
successful.
Whole
but
other
anyways.
conversation.
Yeah. Okay. So,
I live in a dark place.
yes. Yes. If I have the light on.
Yeah. I should be sitting in the shadow over here, technically.
Right. Technically, we should block off your face. No one should know what you look like.
Yeah. I think about that in my career every time we do this.
Yeah. So that's how it's done.
Okay.
So there, bam.
Okay.
That miner then,
Okay.
once this consensus comes in, saying
Okay.
yes, it's correct.
All right.
That miner gets that 12.7 or whatever it is Bitcoin.
Okay. And so he's awarded the value of that Bitcoin for
Yes.
having turned all those transactions
Yep.
into something that can be added to the blockchain.
Yes, and that amount decreases after a ton of transactions, about every
Okay.
2 years.
So I can just earn.
It started off at 50 Bitcoin
Right. Okay.
when it first started.
So I, by performing this action,
Yep.
have earned 12 Bitcoin. 12 point whatever.
Actually, more. You've earned more than that.
I have?
Yes, you have.
Okay.
Because when you make a transaction, there's also fees involved.
Oh, I get to charge people for this?
Yes.
So I get a piece of all of their Bitcoins?
Yes. So you get
Score.
So you get a transaction fee.
Okay. So not only awarded the activity for having done this,
Yep.
I'm also awarded a transaction, essentially a processing fee.
Processing fee.
Okay, cool.
And usually that's like 0.000001.
Okay.
Very small.
Given the value of Bitcoin
Given the value
today,
of Bitcoin
that could be a lot
yes.
of money.
Yep.
Or tomorrow it could be not very much money.
Yeah. So,
Hence the world of Bitcoin.
yeah.
Up and down.
Let's not go to that because that will get me way sidetracked. I may do a video of a rant about why I hate Bitcoin.
Okay. So
But besides that,
he actually likes Bitcoin. He likes the concept of cybersecurity. He likes the concept of cyber currency. But the complexities and weirdness of this, when you say, how much is a Bitcoin worth? And that number could dance from day to day, does drive some of us a bit bonkers.
yeah. So
Okay, so all right, back to this.
okay. So back on track.
If ever.
So what is a hash? So for you, you have been in the IT industry for years.
Make it sound like centuries.
Well,
Okay.
so
I crossed millennia, yes, but
yeah. When you're older than the internet, yes, you've been in the IT industry for a while.
technically I'm not older than the internet.
We won't go into that, but yes, you're close.
I am close.
When it was actually broadly used, yes. I mean, when the military was using it, yes, before your time.
That predates me.
Well, it predates you, but when it was then accepted. But yeah, anyways. So, you're old.
Defines, it's like saying older than dirt. Depends on the type of dirt.
Yeah, very true. Very true. What level is it at? Top level. Anyway, so what is hashing?
Okay, so hashing is a way of determining the accuracy of something. It's performing a calculation that gives you a value that says, this is what all the data in here represents.
Yes.
And it gives me a number that, if once I've calculated it, should always give me the same number.
Okay.
So with a hash, if I get the same hash every time, I know that that value has not changed.
Perfect. Yes, exactly right.
Damn, I got it right. It's gold star.
Check for you. What cryptocurrency is using? They're using a hashing algorithm called SHA-256.
Okay. And why SHA-256?
It's was developed by the NSA.
Yeah, I should trust it.
Yeah. Well. Another video. Yes.
Okay.
You said you get mad at me last time. About the FBI. Now you're on the NSA.
Oh, yeah, right.
Okay. So anyways,
Well,
yes.
I know the NSA is listening.
Right. Oh man. So they developed it, and so we're using, because it's very there's 5 steps, so kind of why we're using it. So it's
The key is it's highly complex.
it's highly complex.
That's the
so what's happening is step 1 is 1.
Okay.
It's easy to come up with a number. You put your information into the algorithm, and it comes out pretty fast. It doesn't take a while to develop it.
Okay.
It just takes almost instantly.
Because it's a known calculation.
No calculation.
We understand. Everybody understands and knows how that calculation is performed. One of the values of using any encryption or hashing algorithm is that it's relatively well known, which means it's been highly tested. Because you want to make sure with a hashing routine that it can't create collisions. And a collision is where 2 different sets of values give you the same number. You want to ensure that that doesn't happen, because if that occurs, then you can no longer place reliance on the value hasn't changed. So using SHA-256 creates a highly complex number with a very low collision count. Okay,
Yes.
I'm done. I can go home
That
now.
was actually number 5 on my list of things.
Sorry.
So, but okay, yes. So number 5, you got 1, easy to come up with. 5, very unlikely to get the same 2 hash numbers for 2 different pieces of information.
Right, and hence the reason we call it squirrel trails. We went from 1 to 5.
So number 2 is
computationally infeasible to reverse.
There we go.
Means I can't figure out what the original number was by just simply reversing the numbers.
Just like how I talk.
Can't figure out what he said, even front ways.
Yes. So, and number 3, deterministic.
What does that mean?
So that means that if these characters, it's always going to happen.
Okay, so if I do it one way, it will always give me that
Always
same.
give me that, yeah. So kind of what you talked about earlier
Right.
is if you change something,
Yeah, okay, it's going to change.
Changes everything.
So if I do this with this set of numbers, I'm always going to get that same answer. So unlike when I talk to my wife.
Yes.
Thank
yes. So when you say a phrase, you get the same answer.
Right. From my wife?
Never. Yeah.
By the way, nobody posts this video to my wife's link, please, ever.
Please, or mine. So,
Fortunately,
and then-
mine's not on Facebook.
yep. And number 4, yeah. Number 4, if you do change something,
Right.
you get a whole different. It's not just one thing, but almost everything changes.
Yes, it's not just a
Single
minor change.
Yeah, a minor change in that string.
Right.
It's almost all of them change.
How long is the string?
So for shot 256, how about 256 characters?
Oh, who knew?
Yeah, right?
Why 256 and not 258?
Because it's better than SHA 2
Okay.
or SHA 1, which there is.
Oh, that's right, there would be.
Here we go.
Because everything's a value off of 8.
Yes.
It's all bytes.
Bytes.
Yes, okay.
Yes. So,
For those of you that haven't studied computers, think about values of 8.
a separate video.
We're not doing that.
So yeah.
No. We'll have Abby do that video.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. When she turns 8.
Ow. Ouch. Okay, back on point, please.
So, all right. So yes, back on track.
See, that's 4 times.
Yeah. Maybe I'll put a counter up.
Squirrel counter.
We've talked about. I have one. So,
Yeah, you get a free coffee cup if you can figure out how many times we've hit on a squirrel.
that's actually not a bad idea for a live video. That we're doing once we get 50 subscribers. We will do a live video of this kind of a take.
And you can actually
See us mess up a ton.
and potentially contribute.
Yeah, and so that's a good idea to put a reward out for people.
It works on kids shows.
Right? So, we'll add that to the counter. So
256 comes to mind.
or 8. So the blocks that the miners are creating.
Okay, yes.
So what's in that block?
Data.
Great, we're done.
Transactions.
Transactions. So yes. So there's going to be a couple different things.
Okay.
Okay. So first you got the version.
There's more than one version of a Bitcoin? How'd that happen?
Just kind of updates. So kind of where it follows in line.
So it's a kind of a software code version number? thingy?
Yes.
Okay. Got it. Who knew? Software changed.
Yeah, right? Oh. And then you get the timestamp.
Good idea.
When that block was created.
Okay.
So, and not the timestamps of every transaction.
Okay.
Those are also included, but it's a separate one.
Okay.
So the block itself has its own timestamp.
I got done at this point in time.
Yes.
Okay.
Then previous block hash.
Okay, so there was a block before this, and we have a value from its hash.
Yes.
We bring that in. Score it.
Yep.
Now we confuse the hell out of everybody.
Yeah. So, and again, if you if that confuses you, what's the blockchain? Watch the link that we did previous to this.
Short answer, blocks come together. It's called a blockchain. That means that implies that there's more than one block on a chain.
Very
so
true.
There is a block before this that has a hash.
Yep. In a ledger, it's called a previous page.
Why didn't they call it a block?
Because a ledger was paper. A ledger,
Nobody said it was a paper chain.
a
Forget it.
ledger back in the day was on paper.
They actually go back to stone. Then you would actually have a
Again,
blockchain.
you're showing your age.
Then it was actually a blockchain.
Good point. So anyways, yikes. So then we get the Merkle root. That the Merkle root is
I'm not even going to make a joke on that one because I will get in trouble.
That's the all the transactions.
Okay.
Kind of breaking down.
So a block has more than one transaction.
More than one transaction. It's grabbing all the transactions that not only that you and I just did,
Right.
but everybody else is doing.
Okay. So is there a set number of transactions that it should have?
No.
So it could have one transaction.
It could have one.
So then I get to determine how many transactions I get?
The not you itself is actually the software.
The software will give me a set of transactions
Yep.
to calculate on.
Yep, and it gets keep grabbing them
Okay.
as it's running its transactions.
I'll never be done.
The next one is a difficulty target.
A difficulty target.
Yes.
Is that kind of like the size of the zero of the bullseye?
Yes.
Or is it like how the challenge of raising you?
Yes. So that actually changes.
And it did for you too.
It's the amount of zeros before or in the hash. So there has to be a string of zeros,
Okay, so
usually about 18.
okay, so again, we have a 256 character string.
Yep.
Or character string.
Character string. Yep. Using
And-
ones and letters. So numbers and letters.
Does case count?
But yes, case does count.
It does not include special characters. No. Unless for my son, ones and zeros are special characters.
Maybe. Okay. Anyways,
You can delete that part.
if you put them together, maybe.
Ow. Okay. So because the number of characters to calculate is more difficult, the fewer zeros, the more difficult it is to calculate?
Yes.
Okay.
The fewer zeros, the less difficulty.
Right.
The more zeros, the higher difficulty.
So is it leading zeros in or zeros?
Leading zeros.
Okay.
So 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, A, F, 2, lowercase b. Yes.
Okay.
So it's the leading
Okay.
zeros.
Okay. So how many leading zeros there are?
Yes.
Okay.
And that's depending. That's the difficulty. The more leading zeros, the harder the difficulty.
So that actually makes sense because you have fewer characters to calculate the hash in, so you have to recalculate it to get to that number.
Yes.
Okay, that actually makes sense. Because if it was 0, I could calculate it once and be done.
Yes.
But if it was 255, I'd have to calculate it every time to where I got to some number.
Yep.
Okay.
So that's and the difficulty is changed.
Okay.
Again, after a bunch of transactions to help it keep down for at least Bitcoin, keep it down within a 10-minute range.
Okay.
So if miners are creating blocks, say every 8 minutes, the difficulty will rise for the next block to be created.
Okay.
So it takes approximately 10 minutes.
Okay. So they're trying to get it up so there's a count.
Yep.
Because we don't want this to be real time
No.
for some reason.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's why the difficulty target changes.
Okay.
And that's how that is done to create the zeros is called a nonce.
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 Not nuts. That's yeah, appropriate enough for squirrel trails, but nonce is the
Nonce.
term.
Yes. So what is it? What is it?
A nonce? Mm-hmm. When I think of a nonce, I think of a seed, but I know I'm wrong.
It's the same thing.
Okay.
It's a random number.
Okay, it's a random number that's created. And so in this case, it'd be a random number of zeros.
It's a random number to get to 0.
Random number to get to 0.
Because again, if you put a 1 into the hash algorithm,
Right.
it's not going to get a 0.
Okay.
If you put a 0 in, it's not going to get a 0.
Okay.
So different characters, different strings of numbers and letters will get to beginning to become a 0.
Okay.
And watch me do it right now.
Guys, just wanted to show that SHA-256 hash generator. So here is the generator, and what you do is you enter in stuff, and it comes up with a hash for you. So how to get those zeros at the beginning. So here's one that I know. Just 4 ones will get you 1 at the beginning. Here's also one, what was it, 884, gets you 4 at the beginning. But, that all changes. We put one thing at the beginning. Take that away. We got this there. How fast can this generate a hash? Well, here is most of the U.S. Constitution. And but here's a little number at the end to get 1 0 at the beginning. Bam, done. I just clicked it and there we go. It's super quick. But to get more zeros at the beginning, and again it's just numbers. Oh, I got 2. So there we go. That was a guess. But usually you need a bunch of zeros, not just 2. So there you go. Enjoy.
Yeah, so that's how you, that's kind of what the nonce does.
Okay. So now we've gotten the nonce.
Yep.
We've taken the transactions. So in our hands is how many zeros we have to have based on the nonce.
Yep. Or make it based on the difficulty root.
Based on the difficulty root.
Yes.
We've been given a nonce, or we've calculated, okay. And then we've got all the transactions.
You got the transactions.
Right.
Okay. You got the nonce number,
Okay.
which gives us the hash number
Okay.
that has the leading zeros.
Okay. All right. So,
And once that number,
Yep.
the hash number is correct,
right.
so that with the target, so we get the target under those many zeros,
Right.
then we send out the,
So all I have to do is to
Paperwork.
do that math, do the calculation, get the hash, and submit it, get everybody to agree, and I've made money.
yes. And currently, you'll make about $50,000
So,
in American dollars.
so why doesn't everybody do this if it's that easy to do?
Yeah. There's a pool. So now that we don't know what miners are,
That's what I get for asking questions.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to make a ton of money today.
the difficulty of that happening,
Me making a ton of money, yes.
well, that too, is there are a ton of people that do this. And so on screen is actually a pie chart showing kind of all the miners and all the pools. And what a pool is essentially is a bunch of miners saying, hey, instead of me doing it by myself trying to do it, let's all do it, all 5,000 of us.
Oh,
We'll all combine our computing power,
okay.
and then once our pool gets the block correct, we'll split it up, depending on how much computer power each.
So I think we've missed a key step to this.
Okay?
There's thousands of people that are performing these transactions around the world.
Yes.
Maybe millions, God knows. So, however, the first person that gets the answer right gets the Bitcoin.
But if they're in a pool,
Right.
yes. But if their pool gets it, not the person, the
Right.
pool, they share it.
So by doing it with a pool, I'm more likely to get the answer because we're all sharing.
We're all sharing.
sharing computer power, so we can perform that difficult calculation more rapidly.
Yes.
Okay. So if I'm doing it at home with a pen and paper, I'm probably not going to get it done.
No, to do it on pen and paper, which I have seen it done, takes about an hour.
Ooh, that's not going to work if we want to create one every 10 minutes.
The computers are creating millions in 10 minutes.
Okay.
Not just one.
So I can't write that fast.
No, you can't think
Okay.
that fast. So over the years, there's actually been different types of software that's been developed to get faster and faster and faster speeds.
Yes,
So
for the calculations. And the computers have gotten faster and faster and faster
yes.
as well.
So is Google a big company?
One would think so, yes.
Okay. If they take all their computing power that they have, okay,
Okay.
all of it,
Yes.
stop with the whole Google search, right?
Okay.
That's all down.
Okay.
Everything else is done. They're using all their computing power to mine coins.
Yep.
They'd lose millions.
What? So why does anybody do this?
To strike it rich.
Okay.
That's
So
literal.
not
Yes.
so not unlike gold miners of years ago, a lot of people didn't make any money mining gold.
It's true.
You know, so there was a handful of people made a ton of money, but there were a lot of folks that didn't make anything.
Hey, go look on YouTube.
Yeah.
Search why to mine Bitcoin, or how to be a miner. A lot of them are losing money. Some are making money, but most of them are not breaking even due to the electric cost.
Electricity is not free.
No.
Yeah, you have to pay for electric power, utility costs.
Yes.
So
that's why it's kind of there's actually a calculator determined.
That's the reason we want you folks to subscribe to our channel.
Yes. So we can mine coins.
I know better.
So it's is it worth the mine? That's up to you, to be completely honest.
So it's a risk that you're going to take.
Yes.
You could spend a lot of time and a lot of computing power, suck up a ton of energy. You know, interestingly enough, Iran recently just noted that they were saying that they had a power shortage within their country because of the number of people that were mining Bitcoins.
Yeah.
Not sure anybody buys that, but conceptually, that's the concept. You're chewing up a ton of energy to do this. So I'm going to get in trouble, but what's the carbon footprint of a Bitcoin?
Ooh.
Subject for
Ouch.
another conversation.
Wow.
Just have to ask.
That's why it's not done here in the United States.
Why? So the mining isn't done in the United States?
Big mining pools? No.
Yeah. They're sitting in Kazakhstan or something?
Yeah, essentially.
Okay, interesting.
Because the electricity cost is cheaper.
Oh, that kind of makes sense.
So,
Yeah, you want to do this where it's cost benefit.
yes.
I can get behind that concept.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Okay, so anyway, I've had to take a break because I was laughing. And this is the reason why you want to watch the live view of this, because David just stopped me and said, hey, look at the frickin' camera.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, as we've been doing this, we've now walked through, because I'm just getting in my mind where we've been with this, because we're all over the place.
Sure.
So, we talked about what a block is, why we mine, how they get connected to some degree, what makes up a block,
Yep.
and what data is included with that. David's actually done a calculation for you on how they've gotten to the hash and to the nonce. And then we've kind of wandered all over the place about how much it costs to do mining, why it's mined, and how you could do this and lose your shorts performing that activity.
Or make a ton of money.
Or make a ton of money. Your choice, well, not really your choice, depends on how fast you do this. So that is also why there are these large groups that perform this activity together, because they're more likely to win. So what happens if too many people win too many coins?
So, it's actually happened a couple times.
Okay.
Is when a mining pool gets so big,
Yep.
and they create blocks in a row.
Well, that would be like definition of winning.
Yeah.
I create all the Bitcoin.
Yeah.
I like this thought.
So, yeah. So,
However, it completely blows the concept of the Bitcoin, because now I have essentially created a power.
a power. So, because you are the only one that created the blocks 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Right.
And can that be trusted?
You've met me? Of course so.
I've met you. Okay. But can the person over in Egypt trust you?
Trust me. Trust me.
So,
By
again,
the way, do you know how an auditor or an accountant says bad things to you? They say, trust me.
oh, man.
I don't think that's going to make it to the video.
It is. So, but yes. So, what has happened is they go, okay, we are, and it was them that did it themselves and not the community.
So
they actually said, you know what, we're doing it too fast, and we're not giving anybody else a chance. We need to make our pool smaller. And so they actually kicked up people out of their pool.
So out of the kindness of their heart,
Yes.
they chose to do this because we want to give other people a chance.
Yes.
I'm betting it's because if we create all the blocks ourselves, nobody will trust them, and then Bitcoin has no value.
Again, there's two little. Yes, the initial part, yes. We want to look good because we're trying to build a community, and in the back going, crap, damn it. Okay.
Because here's the issue. I mean, the reality is, if you're a sneaky, nasty-minded person like me, if I create a new block, I have validated that the previous block number was good, so that comes forward. If I'm able to change that block, but I perform the calculation in a way that gives the new value correctly, I've lost that value of trust. And Bitcoin, because there is no central authority, everybody has to trust everybody.
Yep.
And so remember we talked about consensus, if there's no value in the consensus, if I suddenly have more than 51% and can agree, I can potentially do bad things. So you have to create the environment so trust is still a part of that process. And that means keeping the calculation and the creation of Bitcoins diverse.
So what would happen if two blocks got created at the same time?
The world ends.
Yes. So actually what happens, so you got the two blocks that are created.
Okay.
Then, so you got the block here, the block here, the block here.
Okay.
Then, actually, people are creating a new string, new line, new fork.
Okay, so there's a new string. You explain this to me or to them?
To them, but I'm kind of looking over here, creating symbols.
Okay.
Magic!
It's all electronic, who knew?
Right. So, once they go down far enough and go, no, we're going to follow this string instead.
Yep.
These transactions.
Yeah.
Go bye-bye.
Okay, so let's go back then, because I got confused.
Okay.
So let's start this over again. Why are we having this conversation? Two calculations occurred at the same time.
Yes.
And they created similar blocks, or the same block.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, using different transactions.
Okay.
Because again, we're not all grabbing the same transactions.
Oh, so we're not trying to solve this for the same set of transactions.
Well,
depends on which transactions I've grabbed.
Which transactions which ones transactions you grabbed?
So I want to select transactions that I can do the calculation faster on.
Again, the computer's choosing it, not you.
Okay.
It's just grabbing transactions. It's not picking and choosing. It's just grabbing what's out there.
And actually, according to one of the classes I took on this thing, that actually happened. So people were actually taking note, because you could much easier to do this calculation with one single large transaction.
Yes.
So that now they've implemented controls to prevent that.
So yeah, okay. So when two blocks are created.
Yep.
So you have the one single block, you have two blocks.
Yep.
And then you're starting a fork.
Okay.
So which one keeps going? And we'll eventually figure out, we're going to trust this one more.
Okay.
Because it's longer.
Okay. Because it has, okay.
There's more blocks.
More blocks to it. So what happens to the other one?
They go back in the pool.
So all those
transactions that were solved.
Yes.
Go back to being unsolved. Yes. So if you make a transaction at 1 o'clock, that transaction, technically, you shouldn't make if you're doing a transaction for a purchase,
right.
Hey, here's 2 Bitcoin, I'm gonna buy a couch. It's an expensive couch. Here's 5 Bitcoin. Thanks for the Lamborghini. Okay?
Okay.
It's more feasible.
Okay.
Depending on when this video is watched.
But the reality is I could buy something with 0.001 Bitcoin.
Yes.
Yeah.
0.000000000. Yeah.
At any rate, I may not buy a piece of bubble gum with it, but I probably could buy a chair.
Yes. Or the box of bubble gum.
Okay.
But yeah. Okay. So, little squirrel trail. Sidetrack. So, if we trade that, so you give me the keys, I give you the coins, right?
Yep.
I drive away.
Yep.
If that transaction was part of a string that gets put back into the open
right.
for everybody to solve, I get my coins back. And I also got the car if you can't find me.
So,
So most people, when they make a transaction, wait
Right.
24 hours.
oh, that's good. I'm going to stand in front of a convenience store or a gas
Again,
station.
this is usually not at the, you're not buying gas right now.
I'm going to be at the auto dealership, and right now I could drive away with the Lamborghini.
You could. I mean, wait 10 minutes.
Okay.
Wait 20. Wait an hour.
So wait a period of time until you're pretty sure that an alternative chain hasn't
Yes.
crashed.
Yes.
But I know I'm going to have to wait at least 10 minutes.
At least 10 minutes.
Okay. So
Well, yes, it could do it in 5, but yes, an average of 10 minutes.
okay. So the key thing to remember about this is there's a bunch of transactions that are sitting out there in the wild, and
Yep.
they're in a pool that are being resolved, and you really can't place reliance on yours until not only is it placed into the blockchain, but the blockchain has been stabilized enough for there not to be a fork off of that process. Now,
Yep.
that being said, the likelihood of
it does happen,
Right.
But more often than not, it doesn't.
Okay, so again, life is a matter of risk.
Yes.
Okay.
So with that, I think it's a good class.
Okay, so we wandered all over the place talking about blockchain with this. So, but the key thing we wanted you folks to understand is kind of conceptually, you're going to have to pick and choose a bit through this video to figure it out. But to walk through how a blockchain was created, we wandered off a bit on a lot of things on how it's calculated and some weirdness and and calculations and why you place reliance on them. And I'm going to say that the deterministic portion, again, don't send that portion to my wife. I will get in trouble.
Yeah.
So, but the key thing is, within this, within blockchains, it's calculated with a secure method that's going to make it highly complex, and it's done in a way so that it has the same value each time, so you can place reliance on it. So that hash value that comes into play means that this is one of the methods used to ensure that cryptocurrency can be used for financial transactions with
Not just cryptocurrency, blockchain.
in blockchain in general, yes. So you can place reliance on it. That's there. Then there is no central authority for that. We're all operating, those of us that might be using cryptocurrency all create a part of that governance environment that are there.
Yep.
And so,
again, it's blockchain, not just cryptocurrency, but yes.
well, but blockchain, I could actually build a blockchain for a private function as
Yes.
well.
And there are a ton out there.
Right. So
If you want to invest in shipping bananas, there is a banana coin. No joke.
bananas are us. So,
So with that,
please take this away before I go and get myself in more trouble.
thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and then hit the bell notification so when our next video goes up, you'll be notified. And down below, there's also a link to our Facebook page. We're trying to get 50 likes and followers there, and then we'll do a live Facebook once we hit 50 there. We're almost there.